And welcome into a For What It's Worth episode 15. We got the boys back. We got Erik. We got Tyrone. We were missing Tyrone. It's been a couple episodes. Me and Erik have done a couple breakdowns and whatnot. Good to have you back, Tyrone. And we got a full slate of a show, all NFL. We're going to cover it all. We got biggest surprises of week 2. We're going to talk some Bryce Young. Obviously, got to talk Chiefs, Bengals. We got it all. I'll save it for later. But before we jump into all that, Tyrone, we'll start with you. How you been, man? Like I said, it's been a couple episodes.
Man, I got some allergies going. My nose has been stuffed. I've been outside sniffling and sneezing extra hard. People looking at me. Feel like I can't breathe. Feel like I wasn't grateful for my breathing intake, my air intake. So I'm just praying that I can breathe through my left nostril correctly tomorrow. So that's why I'm at. But besides that, I'm chilling.
Well, I'm glad that you're powering through and jumping on the podcast still and helping out there. I was dealing with something pretty similar in the middle of the week about running around Wednesday, and I'm kind of finally coming out of it. But yeah, those sinuses, man, they'll get you. Erik, have you been dealing with the cold at all? Or you've been good?
Kind of, I guess, but I'm good.
Good. You been up to anything?
That shit ain't nothing. Bleep that out. And then, no, I haven't been doing nothing. I've just been working lately. No, not much, but just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Working enough to fund my FanDuel account. That's about it.
Well, let's talk NFL. Biggest surprise of week 2 weekend. Because as we're recording this, it is Monday night, so Eagles are playing right now. I know a couple of us have the game on in the background, so won't include that. But up to that point, I got to say my biggest surprise from the weekend was Saints and Cowboys. Now, before we dissect more into that one, I just want to hear your guys's, and then we'll kind of talk about each one. But Tyrone, what was your biggest surprise from week 2?
My biggest surprise is Sam got on the Vikings. Them beating the 49ers is a really big deal. I feel like that's equally as important as the Saints beating the Cowboys, but the Saints did it on the road. I wasn't going to say the Saints with you, but I feel like I need to throw Sam Darnold some love because he usually does not get that.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And especially after the 49ers have been raved about with their defense and how good they are. We'll talk some more about that game as well. And then, Erik, what about you? I kind of saw your head nod there with Tyrone. Are you agreeing with him, or is there something else that surprised you from the weekend?
No, I'm a huge Vikings fan. I bet on them week 1 and week 2, and they've done me right so far. So I'm on that train for sure. But I think that the Ravens being 0-2, I mean, they can lose the Chiefs. Like, that was fine, you know. They had that game. They just kind of, Isaiah likely stepped out, whatever. Week 2 is just not okay. At home opener, the Raiders, bro. Gardner Minshew, are you kidding me? And they have, that's just no way. But, I mean, that's more of a personal matter there that I'm upset about. Yep. But I think, honestly, the Vikings, I literally, didn't want to even touch Justin Jefferson in my other fantasy drafts. Because I was I know he's the best, he's top 3 receiver in the league.
He's receiver number 1, regardless. He said it. I'm like Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, no, he's so tough. But and now they're playing great. I thought it was just going to be a bloodbath up there, but they're holding their own. Well, they played the Giants week 1, but they handled business.
Yeah, no, they handled business and go on.
The 49ers walked up in there and did not take over that trap and had to.
No, the 49ers have not won in Minnesota, I think, since 1992 or something like that. Yeah, something crazy.
I think it was 93, 92, somewhere around there. I'll say I'm not quite ready to jump on the Sam Darnold hype train by any means yet. But yeah, when you have Justin Jefferson as your number 1 receiver, you're in good hands. That guy's got to get open too. You just got to get the ball in his hands. He's a playmaker.
Literally. He's 97-yard touchdown. Yeah, I feel like a little bit. Another fact that's getting overlooked. Sam Darnold used to be the backup for the 49ers too. Probably felt really good to stick it to his old team. Like, you guys didn't want me. You got this Brock Purdy guy. I'm just as good, coach. I remember last year when you compare me to Steve Young, now I'm out here busting your ass. So take that.
Yeah. And we're going to talk some more about the Vikings here later on and how real that they might be. Before we talk Dallas and Saints, is there anything else that you guys want to talk about here with this Vikings game and 49ers?
The Vikings defense played really, really, really well. I think they had 2-3 turnovers, which is amazing. Offense clicking with their defense playing like that. I mean, that looks like a playoff team. I think the defense will be reliable. But Darnold can continue to just do what he's doing. Maybe even a little less. It's not turn the ball over and play crazy. They can definitely be in contention for a playoff spot.
Yeah, I think their defense could carry them some. Like I said, I'm still not ready to really hop on any Sam Darnold hype train or Sam Darnold can lead a team to it. The playoffs, not obviously do damage in the playoffs, but even lead a team to the playoffs. I don't know if I'm quite ready there yet, only week 2, but I do think that defense could help them some and could carry them and would be something that they might have to rely on later down in the season. Erik, anything else you want to say about the Vikings?
Yeah, I mean, they pretty much, you said it all. They really surprised me. I feel like they could have beat the, Giants maybe, but I did not think they were going to beat the 49ers. I did bet it week 2, but before the season, I would have thought they had no chance to win that game. But
yeah, I'm going to go to Dallas and the Saints here, and my biggest surprise from the weekend, because like I said, it was more just how the Saints dominated the Cowboys more than anything. We thought the Cowboys were a good defensive team, and it's only been 2 weeks, but I don't know if that's true, guys. I don't know if the Cowboys really do have that good of a defense. You lose Dan Quinn. You bring in Mike Zimmer. What's his plan for this game? Give up 432 yards? They got rain all over. I don't know if this defense is good when it comes to passing and stopping the pass, but when it comes to running, and a lot of NFC teams love to run, I understand they can handle that. They've won 12 games the past 3 seasons each. But at some point, and we've seen it in the playoffs, it comes and hurts them. And to see this already, I don't know. That's kind of worrisome to me.
I think we're kind of seeing the same thing with the Ravens and the Cowboys to get new defensive coordinators. I know this is a general cop-out answer, but it takes time to adjust. But I would expect somebody like the Cowboys, when you have a generational player like Michael Parsons, that should be there should be a baseline for what your defense is. And I mean, they just didn't hit that standard. But I mean, maybe they're just running into a buzzsaw. Maybe the Saints are like that. And I think in Derek Carr's last 7 games, he's 6-1. So he's lighting it up his last 7 games. Currently he's a baller. And the last pod I was on, I was hating on him. He's a baller
I said something about it. I said something positive about it. I wouldn't say I was loving the guy, but I had his back. Go back and listen to that one. I threw him a bone. I appreciate it.
You bought some of his stock, and it went to the moon. He might be the MVP right now. He's going crazy.
It's only week 2, though. But go on.
Yeah. I mean, defense, I wouldn't be too concerned. I think that, the hardest part for any team is getting the players. Once you have the players, the only thing you have to do is put them in the right scheme. So hopefully, the new defense coordinator can do that. But, when you have Michael Parsons on your defense, I feel like that is a huge, leave. Like, put him on my defense. On the Broncos defense, I'll show you how happy I'd be.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of defense would love to have someone like that on their defense. And before I go to you, Erik, real quick too, Alvin Kamara had 3 touchdowns, 190 yards total between the running backs there. Just like I said, total domination on the running game. And speaking, 4 total, right? 3 rushing and then
receiving touchdown.
Yep. So 4 total, 3 rushing. And speaking of running, Dallas averaged just 3.2 yards per carry with their running backs. Elliott and Vaughn, they're just bland. That running game's so bland right now. It's bland. No one's getting anything done. Dude, we gotta do something here, Dallas. And also, too, is anyone going to be consistent outside of CeeDee Lamb? Anyone?
No.
No. Will anyone step up and just be consistent? No. Cooks can be the second receiver. That's fine. I mean, it's not talent that I'm worried about. It's just consistency.
They don't. Yeah, it's the CD-led offense. This is a CD-led offense. I don't believe in anybody else on that team offensively. I mean, I guess Dak, but any skill position players outside of that, no, I don't. Why would I? They're not.
I trust
I
Dak
guess
regular season. Yeah,
Ferguson's a decent tight end, but I mean, realistically, if they have to play good defense, and they have to
and
hope that CD
that didn't happen.
they get CD touches in great ways. If they don't do those two things, you're just gonna lose. You're just gonna lose. They could probably get by with CD not going off, but if they don't play, they can't get into shootouts. It's impossible.
Nope, they can't. Erik, anything you want to add about Dallas and the Saints?
Formally issue my apology to Derek Carr. I had them, I had them booked for like 5 wins probably, which I mean technically could still happen, but on a 2-0 start, probably most likely not going to happen.
In that division, yeah, that's green.
Yeah, I mean they get. I was about to say they get two free wins. Oh, I guess they played the Saints already. They get one more free win, and I'm sorry to Derek Carr and the Saints. Well, I mean Chris Olave is like the only guy that I like on the Saints, like that. But
yeah,
I mean Rashid Shaheed is probably like 5th in receiving yards in the first 2 weeks.
I'm trying to get him on fantasy so bad. I'm not gonna lie.
Don't do that.
I'm trying to get him in fantasy
but,
so bad.
Yeah, I'm sorry, and I also bet on the Cowboys and looked like I didn't know what I was doing. I looked like a casual square, and I'm upset at that. So,
I mean, I don't necessarily blame you. Dallas isn't the worst team when it comes.
Dallas at home.
September,
I feel like that's a lock.
Yeah,
picking the Cowboys at home, that should be green every time.
And Erik's talking about 2-0 start. That's confident Derek Carr. And once again, we'll get to them too and kind of talk with them and the Vikings or, who's more of a real team or more of a real threat. So we'll get to them here later on. All right, let's switch topics here. And we are going to go to Chiefs-Bengals. I was actually at this game. I don't mean to flex too hard here, but up in the press box watching the game, reporting down on the field later on. It was very cool experience and a very great game.
Flex on it.
Hey, just a minor flex, nothing too serious. So that is what took up most of my viewing as of Sunday. So that's kind of more what I wanted to talk about because that's what I have the most knowledge and notes on and just viewership on from the weekend. So if we're going to be real here, and I think you two will agree with me, the Bengals honestly should have won this game.
Yeah. One of the worst. That was probably literally probably his worst game of his career. The second lowest passing yards he's ever had. 151 from Patrick Mahomes, 2 picks. That's bad for anybody.
The first one was his fault. The second one was just a great play. The first one was his fault.
Yeah. I agree. He had another one that could have been a pick too, but Pat just didn't. They can't keep getting away with this. They can't keep getting away with this.
And it's funny.
You didn't think that was PI, Ty?
No,
it was
PI. I'm just saying that it's for the Chiefs are just a really good team, and for a lot of other quarterbacks, I can name them all. They have to go Superman mode in order for their team to be even in consideration. Like, if Josh Allen rode out there in a game against the Chiefs and he threw 2 picks and only had 151 passing yards, they would lose by 21 points. It would be fried. If Lamar did that, if C.J. Stroud did that, if Joe Burrow did that, their team would lose. And it's just like, dang, you get right there and you still lose the Chiefs. That would just infuriate me.
Oh, yeah, and that's why I think there's a new poll that the Chiefs are now the most hated NFL team, surpassing.
Yeah, for sure. Why would you be fans of the Chiefs outside of like, it's just, yeah, they're not like at this point, they're not a, people want to stop. I don't feel bad. I actually feel no sorrow for the Chiefs at all. None. Actually, they're actually spoiled, literally spoiled with greatness. They don't even understand.
They are spoiled right now. They got that whole Hallmark movie coming out about, the love story of the Chiefs and yeah. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because Bengals had more plays, more total yards, more drives, more yards per play, more red zone attempts. They won the turnover battle, and they won the time of possession. Still lost.
I think back to kind of what Ty said about his Patrick Mahomes, that was his second worst game. Technically his first worst game because the only game that he had less passing yards than that, he left the game he didn't play the complete game. So he was, he played 4 quarters and threw 151 yards. So,
and I mean, I get it. Pacheco was running well. The run game wasn't terrible, so that kind of took away a little bit from Mahomes. But yeah, the first pick was his fault 100%, and the second one, and then Steele had that turnover too. Yeah, I don't know how they won.
Yeah, honestly,
I really don't. Actually, I kind of do, and it points to the fact that the Bengals had 8 penalties for 79 yards. Like, that's, if I had to, pick through and really dissect this game and what led the Bengals wrong, besides also the Burrow turnover, that just totally flipped the tide of momentum. But it would be the penalties. But yes, it was a pass interference on that play, on that 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mahomes said it too in the press conference. He had to get it out. Like, he had to throw it. And slow motion, that it's early.
I was talking to guys the same. But I want to give shout-outs. I usually don't give shout-outs to people like this at all. Very rare. But I'm going to give a shout-out to Joe Burrow. Because if he would have not played, they lost. But he played about as well as he could play. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes. And that's all you could ask him to do. It's literally all you could ask him to do is to outplay Patrick Mahomes. I know he had the costly fumble at the end. But outside of that, he literally outplayed Patrick Mahomes doing that game. And there's nothing. I mean, what else do you want him to do?
Yeah, and I mean, fumbles are going to happen, especially when you're getting hit from behind like that. Yeah, no, he played a good game, especially if his wrist is actually that injured. Erik, I know that you were going to say something there. What's on your mind about this Chiefs-Bengals game?
More about the Chiefs in general. I was going to say that whenever Tom Brady's on the Patriots, everybody hated the Patriots because they were good. Like, that just kind of happens. Whenever you're great, you get hate. Yep. I mean, it's pretty simple. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Ty's just mad that the Broncos haven't won a game yet, I think.
I'm not that mad about the Broncos, though. We have the same record as those guys. I am mad about the Broncos only having one offensive touchdown. That is what I'm mad about. I'm not mad at 0-2. That's whatever. People win or lose.
Bo Nix was the savior.
They still won
one offensive touchdown. I mean, he has it. It was him who scored the touchdown.
The Steelers won week 1 without a touchdown. Broncos could have done that.
We could have did that.
I don't know. Mike Tomlin is a genius, man. I don't know how he gets his teams to winning records every year. Every year, come on, they have a touchdown and they get a week 1 win.
He is a great coach, Hall of Fame coach. Okay, I guess he's a genius. Give him a genius. He's a genius.
He's a genius.
Sure.
Couple more things I want to say about the Chiefs real quick. One is I'm starting to wonder if losing Willie Gay Jr. is more of a factor than we were led to believe. Nick Bolton has been kind of shaky in my eyes early on. Isaiah Likely, week 1, he stepped up. He had 9 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. The Bengals game, Burrow was hitting his tight ends every first down. Erik All Jr., Mike Gesicki, those two were leading the way, extending drives, keeping drives going. Like, I don't know. The linebacker unit for the Chiefs, I think, actually took a really big hit with Willie Gay Jr. Did anyone else feel like that, or you think they're fine?
I think overall, I know this is crazy to say. I think Chiefs defensively, it may be some question marks there, but I really think it's the offensive line for the Chiefs. That has to be the number one.
That one side,
way over. Yes. Like the defense, hopefully it'll regulate itself with Spags and all that, but I don't know if there's guys who got the right, like, in the locker room. I don't know if they got the guys on the team to block. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, I mean, Kingsley, the rookie, going against Trey Hendrickson, a veteran. Yeah, that was disaster from the start.
It's just like I don't think they have the players. Like, there's not a problem. They don't have the solution for it because the guys aren't good enough.
Yeah, it's not as bad as the Super Bowl against Tampa Bay where Mahomes was getting hit every play, it seemed like, but it's not as good as it's been in the past couple of years or a year or two. So, and then the last thing I want to say is, speaking of tight ends, no Travis Kelce in this one. He was contained by the Bengals, but as Mahomes said also in the press conference, Ravens, Bengals, two teams that the Chiefs know really well, that they know, the Chiefs really well, so they kind of maybe have figured out Kelsey and how to contain him more than others. But now with Pacheco out and maybe the Chiefs relying more on the pass game, we might see him get some more catches or maybe get more involved. Erik, Tyrone, anything else you want to add about this Chiefs-Bengals matchup?
I'm gonna say in general, the Chiefs are really, really close to being on that line of having a lot of players hurt. Hollywood Brown's not gonna play the entire season. Pacheco's out. If they get another injury to any of their skill players, that'll be really bad.
No, not at all. Especially
for them. It'll be good for a bunch of people. It'll be really bad for them, but I don't think they can handle another injury to their receiving room or their running back room. I mean, Worthy and Rice, they're young receivers, but I just don't feel like that's
you can't lose those two. You definitely can't lose those two.
If another one of these guys gets hurt, I know it's
like you lose like Watson or someone, like okay, like that sucks. But yeah, if you lose Worthy or Rice, no.
At this point, the receiving core is just going to be. It might be worse than last year. At this point,
if one of those go down, yeah. Erik,
yeah, I think that O-line is bad.
Yeah,
at least the left tackle.
That left side is bad, man. They got to get that figured out.
Free cheese, they're like bet.
No, for real.
So easy to. I wish I could feel what it's like to be like a D lineman and really being like, yo, I know I'm about to get in the backfield every play. That must
be like a Max Crosby or someone.
Yeah, like bet. This is fun.
That's what I was saying. I bet it's one of the best feelings ever.
Literally, I'm about to just run right past him. Like,
really, just man, dude, that'd be
not even move,
easy Sunday. God,
yeah, that'd
be nice. That would be fun. Speaking of the Bengals, here's my next question for you two. Between the Ravens and the Bengals, both starting the season at 0-2, who needs a win more next week? I'm gonna go, and it's quite simple. I won't give my reason right away, but the Ravens, they need a win more next week than the Bengals. What about you guys?
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm actually going to say the Bengals need to get the win more because the Ravens play the Cowboys. If they lose to the Cowboys in Dallas, it's kind of an understandable loss. If the Bengals lose to the Commanders, that is like, I don't care what you did last week. You've lost to the Patriots and the Commanders in a span of 3 weeks. That's bad. But I would say that Ravens are they both need to win. They both need it bad. They both need it bad. Go
ahead.
I was gonna say at least the Bengals could get off. I wouldn't accept this excuse. T. Higgins not playing, they could fall back on that. The Ravens don't really have any excuse to be 0-3.
All right, and here's my counter argument to that, because I understand where you're coming from and the fact that, if you lose to the Commanders and that 0-3 start, you probably need to look in the mirror. I get that. But here's where I'm going to counter that argument. And, Erik, I'll let you take it after me here. But let's say the Ravens do lose to the Cowboys. And understandable. You lose to the Cowboys at home. Maybe the defense figures it out. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, you're 0-3. It does not get easy for you after that. Then you have the Bills. That could be tough. And then you face the Bengals. And then you have the Commanders. Okay, probably pick up a win there. And then you face the Bucs. A confident Bucs right now. A tough Buccaneers right now. So if you do lose to the Cowboys, it's hard to get back on track or even to pick up a win in your next couple games. Yeah, that Commanders one you can probably win. But then you face, like I said, after Cowboys you face the Bills. That might be 0-4. Then the Bengals. Let's say the Bengals look good. That's 0-5. You can't be doing that if you're the Ravens. So the Ravens have to get a win next week against the Cowboys, because if they don't, I don't know if they can get in the next 2 wins. Erik?
I would have to agree. I mean, the Bengals, whatever. Jamar Chase is a crybaby. T. Higgins is hurt. Who cares? Joe Burrow is annoying. Who cares? But the Ravens, and also Ty saying that they don't have T. Higgins, they don't. Zay Flowers is getting better, but the Ravens barely have a wide receiver one. Like they have like a wide receiver 1.5 and then like wide receiver 3s after that. They literally skip wide receiver 2.
Yeah.
I mean, T. Higgins could go to almost any offense and be a wide receiver 1, and same with Jamar Chase. So I mean, it's like
That is very true. I would not shoot them that bill. I'll take the bill back. Actually, the Bengals are in a must win tomorrow. They're in a must win. They're both must win games, but the Bengals are in a must win.
they're
If they
also both
lose
in
Jamar
must-win games because if the Steelers are like 2 games ahead of everybody in the AFC North, I'm going to be upset.
Who do the Steelers play next week? Who knows?
They play the
I can look that up.
Chargers. They play the Chargers. I'm pretty sure they play the Chargers.
Ooh.
They do play the Chargers.
I would rather have the Chargers win that game. I think week 4 it'd be Chargers versus Chiefs.
Why do I
Probably
think the Steelers might get that
both
one?
could be 3-0. I would accept that. Chargers.
If the Steelers are 3-0, we might have to write Mike Tomlin an apology letter.
That's fine. Like just how you said you were gonna keep fading the Celtics in the NBA playoffs. I would just fade the Steelers.
We'll see.
They had a 1 possession game. If they play any team that has any sort of good offense, they would lose.
So true.
The Falcons have 15
that's
points right now. Both the teams that they've lost to have yet to score more than 15 points in a game, and they've also yet to win a game. They've beaten probably right now 2 of the offenses that suck, but
They didn't score a touchdown against the Falcons.
You're winning
They
the game.
didn't even score a touchdown. They won the game. That is
Come on now.
crazy. Mike
That's
Tomlin just might be a
Iowa.
genius. That is some Iowa football type shit. I see that every Saturday. I'm tired of it. Last thing I'll say on it, then we'll move on. Joe Burrow. This is why I'm not worried either about the Bengals, and this is why I say the Ravens need to win more next week. Joe Burrow is 1-9 in weeks 1 and 2, and it's the 3rd straight year that since he starts 0-2. They figure it out. I'm not too worried about it. All right, question for you. Another question for you. Realest 2-0 team out of the Chargers, Saints, or Vikings? We were talking about the Saints earlier. We were talking about the Vikings. Haven't really talked about the Chargers much this episode, but I'm going to go the realest 2-0 team out of those 3, in my eyes, is the Saints. All right, out of the 2-0 teams, Chargers, Saints, or Vikings, who is the more real team in your eyes?
I'm going to go with the Chargers. The reason why is because they have the best quarterback out of those 3. And I think that having there's a 3-step process to being a really, really, really good team. 1, you have to have an elite coach.
Yep.
2, you have to have an elite quarterback. And 3, you got to have an elite defense. And I think that they have 2 of those boxes checked off. If they can play good defense, then that's like a football hardball, bringing the Michigan style. We've seen the formula work.
No, and it's funny you mentioned that because at first I was going to say the Chargers as well. Because I was the same thinking. They have the better quarterback. Why wouldn't I go with them? But the more I thought about it, I don't know. Derek Carr, and like I said in the last episode, I was giving him some flowers. I don't think he's as bad as you guys think. Is he better than Herbert? No, I don't think so. But I don't think he's as bad as you think. He's playing confident. Obviously, your running back's playing confident. They have a foundation there in the running game. You're efficient on 3rd down in the past 2 games. And I get it. You played the Panthers. I get it. But you're being efficient here in your first 2 games. You've racked up 91 points, and you've only given up 29. I don't know, Tyrone. That's elite stuff, and I get it. It's week 2. Watch all 3 of these teams not do anything later on. But if I had to go the realest out of those, I would have to go Saints. But I don't hate your thinking there with the Chargers. Erik, do you have anything you want to input on this one?
Yeah, I think it has to be the Saints or Chargers.
Even
I think
the
I'll
Vikings
have
beat the 49ers?
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
think
fair.
so. That could just be the Bears beat the 49ers week 1 last year. So
Yeah, that's fair. Good point.
But yeah, I think the Vikings are good. They have the best wide receiver in the league, but if you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter. So I think I'll have to agree with Ty and kind of go to the Chargers, just because they have a lot more they have a lot more uncertainty. Like, I don't know. I think the Saints probably have a new personnel somewhere of the top, the top three there. But yeah, it's got to be the Chargers, I think.
All right, I like that. A little division there between us three. And I have a little fun topic, not really fun, but just kind of a headline that's been going around the NFL. And it comes from the worst team. Who would have thought we were talking some Carolina Panthers on the podcast? Not me. I didn't think so. But they are demoting Bryce Young and giving Andy Dalton the keys to the offense. Ty, you're shaking your head. You don't like this?
No, I do.
What? Come on, man.
I'm sad. No, I'm not disappointed. I'm not disapproving.
Okay.
It's more of like sadness. Like, it reminds me of that meme where it's like the baby and the baby's like, making a straight face like this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you're born and you realize the doctors say that your mama don't have a job and your daddy's car don't work. It's like that baby knows he's cooked.
Yeah, he's cooked. He was cooked. He was cooked.
And you hate to see it. Like, literally, you just hate to see it.
You hate to see a young quarterback get, broken down so early in a career.
Just franchise malpractice. He has no weapons on his team. The amount of things that they traded for him with those picks actually are blasphemous things. Literally, 4 other, this crazy stuff. Like, they traded away DJ Moore, traded away CMC. They traded 2 first rounds for him and 2 second round picks. Like, that's ridiculous. And he's going to be somebody that you eventually end up cutting.
They might. I don't.
Man, that's just bad. I mean, I just feel bad for Bryce Young. Even if he wasn't, meant to be all that, I just feel like that just has to.
He didn't get an equal opportunity.
He did not. He did not.
Not even equal, but like a good enough opportunity.
That's fair. No, he didn't, and I agree. It's the right move. This is a chance for him to learn from Andy Dalton, and then maybe come back to him week 15 and beyond. Maybe give him another chance, or maybe you just wait till next season and give him one more go around. But he can't lead a defense to save his life, and that's a problem in the NFL, obviously, as a quarterback. So it's the right move. Also, he's 5'10". He doesn't have the best quarterback frame. He has a slight build. I don't know if people. I just don't know if people are going to want him. Yeah, I don't know if people are going to want him anyway. So the Panthers better hope that this little project they're going to do right now and benching him and hoping he learns from Dalton and maybe going back to him later in the season works. Otherwise, yeah, a waste. An absolute waste. Anything else you guys want to say about Bryce Young? Maybe if they don't kill his confidence completely, which would have been done if they would have kept him in and just kept him playing all season and not put Andy Dalton in. Now, I don't know why they would have done that, but that would have absolutely killed his confidence. But, yeah, if you can build his confidence up a little bit, maybe, if he does move on from the Panthers, you put him in the right system, yeah, maybe something can happen. All right, that was every topic that we had planned for episode 15 of For What It's Worth, covering week 2 of the NFL. We even got some Bryce Young and some Panthers talk. Like I said, I didn't think we would ever talk about the Carolina Panthers on this podcast, but go ahead, follow, subscribe, do whatever you need to on whatever social. We're on X, we are on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on YouTube, we're on Spotify. Just type in For What It's Worth podcast, type in FWIW pod. We're on all the socials. Go ahead, like I said, follow, like, subscribe, whatever social you're on. Go ahead and do that. We appreciate the support. I'm Counting Silvers. We have Erik. We had Tyrone. He disappeared. But until next time, have a good one.